Hey, and yes, today I'm wearing this shirt again, and I wore it in the previous review, but I don't care. Hey everyone, thanks for coming to my channel. And yes, I have a bruise on my lip because I tend to bite my lips at night when I'm sleeping. So that happened. But enough of that. You guys want to go ahead and get straight into this review and wear test of the L'Oreal 24-hour fresh wear foundation and its full wear concealer that goes with it. So yeah, I've actually never used any of this. I've had them sitting there on my vanity for the past couple weeks, and as you can see, the little security tag is still on them. I bought it from Rite Aid, so I have not opened them or tried them out yet, so this is legit my first impression real review. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel if you haven't already, because I post new videos here every week. Make sure to click that notification bell button so you're notified on when my new video will be up. And without further ado, let's get into this video. The L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation is supposed to have 24-hour staying power, long-lasting, waterproof, transfer-resistant, and it's medium to full coverage with a natural finish, and it retails for $14.99. As for the full wear concealer, it's supposed to have full coverage, waterproof, transfer-resistant, you can use it to contour, and it retails for $12.99. I want to go ahead and apply my primer. I'm going to use my all-time favorite primer, which is the Tatcha Silk Canvas right there. This is my favorite primer, and I try my best not to go through it too quickly because it is a little bit on the pricier side. Now, if you're new to my channel and if you haven't seen me do a foundation review before, I like to give the foundations the best chance possible. So I always use the same primer that I use with any other foundation. I use the same setting powder because I feel like if I'm going to test out this foundation with my skin, like, you know, for my skin, I want to prep my skin the same way I would with any other foundation. We're going to go in with the foundation first, right here. I got it in the shade 480. It's really hard for me to shade match with drugstore foundation just because there's no tester, and it's very rude when people like to open it up and use it, which I think is so messed up. So I kind of just had to guess it a little bit. So I'm hoping this is my match. If not, then, you know, we'll just kind of go with it. You know, if it's lighter, it's lighter. If it's darker, it's darker. Oh well. So I'm going to apply this foundation with a brush on this side of my face using this foundation brush, and with my favorite beauty sponge, the Eco Tools Total Perfecting Blender, on this side. But of course, you know, we're just wanting to see if a sponge or brush is better to apply this foundation. There we go. So it's a little bit runny, more runny than I thought. I'm going to go in with the the sponge on this side. Oh, you guys, I think that is the perfect shade. Yep, that is a beautiful shade match. Okay, cool. Oh yes, beautiful. Okay, so that's how it's looking on half the face with the sponge. I think it looks pretty good with the sponge. It doesn't look bad at all. It looks really nice. This is more like a medium cover foundation. I think it's, but you know, we'll see if we can build it up a little bit, but this is for sure like a medium coverage foundation as to what I'm seeing with the brush, just to see how it does. I don't usually apply it on the brush directly. I usually put it on the skin and then buff it out. So let's actually do it that way. Okay. Let's stick it in. Okay, let's talk about it. So far, so good. It's not bad with the brush. I definitely think pretty much looks the same for me, at least, the application with the brush. So yeah, it looks the same. It doesn't look too different. It is streaking a little bit, and it's kind of like getting stuck to some parts, like it's not blending out as well with the brush. Yeah, so I'm just gonna stick with the sponge for the rest of my face. You know, that's, yeah. So I think the sponge definitely looks better with the sponge, but it's not bad with the brush. You could definitely get away with using a brush with this foundation. Okay, so that's how the foundation is looking on the skin. It looks really nice, doesn't look bad at all to me. I'm now going to go, before I set the face, I want to apply the concealer, and here is the concealer. It is in the shade, here you go, Pecan. I just had to wing it with the shade because I didn't really know what shade I would be in. And wow, this is a really big doe foot applicator. Kind of reminds me of the Tarte Shape Tape. So, but let's see how it applies. Oh, whoa, that's a lot. Okay, I'm gonna actually just go in with that first because I don't know. Oh wow, okay, so I think I may have gotten a little too light of a concealer, like just a tad bit, but it's not bad. Like, yeah, it's a little light. Okay, that's fine, it's cool. We're just gonna work with it a little bit. Okay, so I'm noticing, well, you can kind of see it in the video as well, it's a little light It's a little bit more brightening for me. It's not a bad concealer like shade. Like I could definitely get away with it with contouring a little bit, adding, you know, just blending in a little bit more. But it is a tad bit too light for me. But I will say with that one initial little swipe, I'm realizing that a little goes a long way with this concealer. So I'm not going to go ham too much with it. But it's looking really good. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Kind of reminds me of the Tarte Shape Tape. But it's a little easier to blend this concealer out in comparison to the Tarte Shape Tape. I feel like the Tarte one, I'm guessing it's more of a, like it's really, this one's a little bit more, it's not as thick. It's a little tiny bit runnier compared to the Tarte Shape Tape, creamier. The Tarte Shape Tape, for me, I have such a hard time blending it out sometimes because it dries so quickly. But this one, I'm not really seeing that problem, which is kind of nice. That looks good. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and set this while on camera. I'm gonna take my Too Faced Peach Perfect Loose setting powder. Oh my god, that was like, I use this all the time. This is my holy grail go-to setting powder. It is my favorite and it smells amazing. You know, that's just what we do. We don't want anything settling into the fine lines because no matter what foundation or concealer you use, it will settle a tad bit into your under eyes. I'm gonna take this Morphe Y11 brush. I like using this brush because it's really good point reaching into the under eye right there. There we go. And then again, I'm gonna just double apply some under the eye. And the reason why I really like this setting powder is because you don't have to worry about putting too much or too little. It doesn't really get cakey or nothing like that. It's a really nice setting powder. Kind of melts into the skin. Now I'm gonna take this Fenty Beauty 170 setting powder puff brush. I think that's what it's called. Totally, let me just mention it now, totally not worth it. I mean, it's a good brush, but it's not worth the price. So I know that's random that I'm saying that and I'm using it, but I'm just letting you know. If you're thinking like, oh, maybe I should buy this brush like her. No, you don't need to. But alright, you guys, that is how the face is looking so far with the foundation, concealer, and the setting powder. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my face off camera, and then we'll have our first check-in and we'll continue on from there. So I'll literally be back in less than a second. Alright, you guys, so I went ahead and finished the rest of my makeup. I did something very simple. Didn't want to put lashes on just because, you know, I wasn't really in the mood for that. So, but regardless, I already kind of have a little bit of an opinion so far of this foundation just with the initial application. I did start my makeup at, I think, 11:30, 11:45, so it's already 12:45, so it's been on for an hour. Okay, I feel like it wasn't really clinging on to my nose, and as you can see here, there is a lot of areas, patches where it looks like I don't have foundation on, or it looks like it's separating. I'm also noting some separation right here. I've never really seen happen before, so that is kind of weird. It's already kind of, and it just looks like it didn't really, it's not really sitting that nicely on the chin area of my face, which is something not normal. Yeah, I do have textured skin, but I never really see my foundation clinging on to parts of my skin like that, especially because I really don't have any dry patches. This does have SPF 25 in it, so I do definitely want to see if there is any flashback. I'm going to go ahead and try that out. So I guess we'll do 2 more check-ins and we'll see from there how it looks. Alrighty, you guys, I am back. So I ended up not doing a second check-in. I totally forgot, lost track of time. But I did apply this foundation today around 11:30, and I think the first check-in was like around 12:45 if I'm not mistaken. But it is now exactly 7:15 in the evening. So I've definitely had this foundation on for pretty much 8 hours, and I do have some things about this foundation. But aside from the foundation, I did apply and use their Infallible Full Wear Concealer. So I'm gonna give my opinion on both of these. I guess I can talk about the concealer first, since like that wasn't really the main focus. It was kind of just an additional thing I wanted to check out. I will say I do really enjoy this concealer. You know, obviously I applied the concealer in this area. It looks really nice. It didn't really crease as much as I was expecting it to, because a lot of times I've tried so many concealers and they just end up creasing quite a bit under my eyes. But this looks pretty nice. I don't mind the concealer. I actually really want to try out the concealer with my normal foundations and see how it is. But of course, let's get to the main event, and that is this foundation. This is just, you know, so you know, studio lighting definitely makes everything look 10 times better than it actually looks in person. As you probably tell, I look like a grease ball right now. This foundation definitely did not help with my oily skin. It makes me look like I legit have just grease on my face and on my, like, I can just literally rub it off and you literally see grease on my fingers. Like, look at that. I mean, I do have oily oily skin, but with my Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer and my normal go-to foundations, I don't really get any shine throughout the day anymore like I used to. And even with the Too Faced setting powder, I'm still surprised at how much oil and how much shine is on my face with this foundation. Another thing which I noticed right after applying it is that it's a lot. Whatever foundation kind of covered my nose, it's already had started to separate, and at this point there's really no foundation on my nose. No actual, like, look, I can literally touch my nose right now and there's no foundation, but look how much grease comes off my nose. But for me, I don't really have dry patches on my skin. I tend to just be very oily all around my main T-zone area, and then that's it. And then around the sides of my face, it's just normal, very normal skin. So it was very weird that the foundation like just clinged onto certain areas around here on my chin, which I thought was kind of odd, and right here in between my brows, which was also very odd. I've never really experienced that so far with the foundation before. This foundation definitely looks really cakey on my skin, but of course I always like to mention everybody has a different experience with the different products, just because we don't have the same kind of skin. As much as, you know, we can relate on oily skin, dry skin, but everyone's skin is definitely different, so products do work differently for everyone. Even if you think our skin types are kind of the same, this product still could work very different for you. I was thinking about it all day, like, because I was in the mall and I kept seeing my makeup and I was just like, I don't like how it looks. It doesn't look good. I'm not having a good makeup day. Like, I just did not like it. I felt super greasy. Since this foundation does has SPF 25 in it, I was concerned that it might have a white cast when I take pictures. So I did definitely I made sure to take a picture with flash using my cell phone. So I guess I'll go ahead and insert that. But as you can tell in the picture, it did leave a white cast, and I have used foundation. I actually have foundations that have SPF in it, and it doesn't give me a white cast, but this one definitely does give you a white cast. Pros about it is that this shade was literally perfect. It's a perfect shade match. I really like the pump. This is a really nice pump, especially for drugstore. This is just my opinion. Obviously, you know, everyone's skin is different. You can try it out yourself. But for me, I do not like the Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation for L'Oreal. It's not my cup of tea. But I do like the Infallible Full Wear Concealer. This is definitely something you should check out if you're looking for a new concealer in the drugstore market. But alright guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I do post new videos here every week. Make sure you click that notification bell button. I know it's annoying to hear us YouTubers always saying this, but it's so important because you'll never get notified on when I post a new video unless you click that notification bell button. Before I go, make sure you comment down below any other foundations you guys want me to try out. But alright guys, that's it, and I'm gonna go with my grease ball face and wipe this all off because it looks really bad. Yeah. Stay buzzing out through the night, shining bright. I'm popping, so I'm a type. Let it ring a few times. I know that you'll still be mine.